This is Shamash. Notice the winged disc I've showed you before. It's that same winged disc. The reason why this is important is because when we take a look at the meaning of the winged disc, like I've showed you up here, we see all of these winged discs and we see that they represent consciousness, higher consciousness. Right here you have the chakra system and of course your third eye. Notice right here on this tree of life we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right next to the pineal gland, and then 7, which means higher consciousness up here. And we have these winged discs right here. So not only does the sun represent higher consciousness, which I believe this is why staring at the sun actually opens our pineal gland, but it actually is showing in the Bible, for example, that it's good for the eyes to stare at the sun. Here's Shamash, another winged disc, one of the ones I didn't actually put in there. Let's take a look at the Book of the Dead real quick. It's translated by E.A. Wallace Budge, which we'll see here in just a second on that website. He's the one who actually translated this a long time ago, Egyptian Book of the Dead. So we have Osiris, Lord of Eternity, King of the Gods, whose names are manifold, whose forms are holy, thou being of hidden form in the temples. Okay. And Osiris was, which is actually Asar, is associated to Orion Nebula, which would be the sun god, but it also has to do with what's inside your head, hidden form in the temples. And so when we see this right here, hidden form in the temples, just put that up here real quick for you guys. Hidden form in the temples, which means inside your head. So there is an association between the sun and what's inside your head, and that's why I believe that staring at the sun actually, and this is my opinion, I believe that it actually activates your pineal gland. And I think this is the reason why that the church it really gives people a hard time about the sun, because they don't want you to do that, because they don't want you to reach higher consciousness. You don't have to worship anything to go outside and stare at the sun. And it's scientifically proven now that if the sun is just risen between like the first hour and the last hour of the day when it's setting, that it won't hurt your eyes. What the question is it good for your eyes? And so far what I'm seeing is that it is good for your eyes. Now, have I actually done it myself? Yes, I have. I've actually been doing it now for the last month, off and on. And what I have noticed is that I have better vision in the sense of differentiation of colors. So when I go out here to take a look at things that I look for inside the Orion Nebula, for example, I can see them easier because I can differentiate the colors in my vision better. I have not gotten any bad effects from it at all. They have some very conservative things here on HRM's video that talks about doing it for 10 seconds and then increasing it by 10 seconds per day and everything like that. I'm not going to recommend that you exceed that conservative estimate, but I will say that when I have started doing this, I did it and I found it most pleasing about 30 minutes before the sun went down. I can't do it in the morning because I don't have the ability to see the sun in the morning where I am, but I can see it set right on the horizon. And I have a lake right near me, and so what I've done is I've gone over and just stared at the sun about 30 minutes before it sets. And I can tell you this, I stood there for 5 or 10 minutes looking at the sun, and it didn't bother me at all. And so if you are nervous or worried about staring at the sun, I highly recommend that you stick with the 10 seconds, adding 10 seconds per day. And I think that is a confidence builder is what that's all about. But if the sun is low enough, you're not going to really notice any difference at all in your you're not going to see any sunspots. What I would stay away from, though, is if the sun is very high in the sky where it's really bright, do not do it then because the radiation is too high. The radiation needs to be low enough, and that's the reason why you need to do it about an hour to, and I recommend about 30 minutes before the sun sets, because then it's very pleasing. It doesn't bother you. There's no sunspots in your eyes. If you have to drive somewhere to do it, you won't be seeing sunspots on the way home. And I have noticed that I have this energetic feeling after I do it. I feel better. I can concentrate better. And I think this is one of the reasons why the church gives this thing such a hard time. I would personally do it, but let's go ahead and take a look at what else we see in here. Okay, look what it says here, right here, and this is also in the Egyptian Book of the Dead. It says, "Hail, O ye who gives cakes and ale to perfect souls." What does that mean, perfect souls? It means people with good hearts. It means that you can go out there and stare at the sun. I believe if you are an evil person, I don't think you're going to get the same benefits. That's my own personal opinion, because I think one of the things that the sun does is provides us with knowledge. It provides us with information into our third eye, and I think that you have to have a good heart. That's the reason why it talks about when people died in ancient Egypt, their heart was weighed against the feather of truth. And if their heart weighed more than the feather of truth, well, they had issues entering the house of Osiris. But it says, "O ye who give cakes and ale to perfect souls in the house of Osiris, give ye cakes and ale twice each day, in the morning and in the evening, to the soul of the Osiris Ani." The Osiris Ani in the Egyptian Book of the Dead is someone who speaks truth and uses, in other words, the sun, or Osiris, which is the Orion Nebula, our collective consciousness, our Adam Kadmon, that relays through our sun, I believe, and the Osiris is defined as that person who speaks the truth for Osiris, or for everybody, for the benefit of all of us, to our collective soul. I believe that, and this is the key right here, in the morning and in the evening, cakes and ale twice per day. Now, where have we seen that, right? We've seen that over here when we take a look at this right here, cakes and ale. Well, here's our ale. Twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening. You see, and that comes from the Egyptian Book of the Dead. You always see these people with these glowing halos behind them. I believe that means that these people are charged. Let's just go through here and take a look at some more of these pictures. So you've seen passages in the Bible. You see all the art showing the sun. You see that Yahweh is the sun. The sun is important, and yet we have been told throughout the centuries now, and that we're not supposed to. Here's the Gonzaga family worshiping the Holy Trinity. Also the Holy Trinity. So they're actually looking at the sun. Here's more people looking at the sun. Notice the little arms coming out and touching the people. You're going to see that in the Egyptian hieroglyphics also. See? The sun with the arms reaching out. Here we go again. Here's the same thing. So the same thing that you see in the old Christian art, right here, this is Pentecost, you actually see in the Egyptian hieroglyphs. And you see how the sun is reaching out with little hands and it's feeding life to these people? See, there it is again. So it's my opinion that the sun, here we go, here's from the Egyptian Book of the Dead, the papyrus of the Ani, okay, this is probably talking about the Osiris Ani. Those who have lain down in death rise up to thee, they breathe the air, and they look upon thy face. Now when they say the dead will rise, I believe what they're talking about is they're not talking about dead people coming out of the earth and rising. They're talking about people who are spiritually dead. It says, they will look upon thy face when the disk riseth upon the horizon. Their hearts are at peace, since they behold thee, O thou who art eternity and everlastingness. Hail, thou disk, thou Lord of rays, who risest upon the horizon day by day. Shine thou with thy beams of light upon the face of the Osiris Ani, I was just talking about, whose word is truth, see? For he singeth hymn of praise to thee at dawn, and he maketh thee to sit at eventide. And I, Ani, have come into thy presence so that I may be with thee and may behold thy disk every day. Okay, do you see? This is actually going all the way back to ancient Egypt. We see it in the Christian religion. And let me just show you, when I talk about sun knowledge, what I'm actually talking about here. Because these guys do not want you to know this stuff. Let's just take a look at what they're doing. This is all religious art, and this is why I like religious art. This is, you see that it's the Ark of the Covenant, and you see what you have right here? And this also looks like the arm stretched out that you see in the Orion Nebula as well. But this is all, I mean, these guys have sun knowledge. I mean, nobody pays attention to this. But it's not about worship. It's about knowledge. I guarantee you these guys go out and stare at the sun. What do you bet? But nobody pays attention to this, right? They don't pay attention to any of it. Okay? So finally, I just want to say this. Okay? It is in my opinion that throughout history, you see in the Bible, you see in the artwork, you see everywhere that the sun is important. Okay? The sun is important. Yahweh is a sun for a reason. Okay? Because it's important. And it's my opinion that this is actually good for you and that it's being hidden from us. It doesn't make good business sense to either publish or tell anybody that the sun is good for you and that it's healthy for you and that it's going to save money on your grocery bill or that it's going to cure you from a disease. It just doesn't make good business sense. So you're never going to see that in the medical industry. But it obviously, to me, that when we take a look in our history all the way back to ancient Egypt, Babylonia, everything else, that there is knowledge here. It's not about worshiping the sun. So please get out of your religious dogma and pay attention to what's going on here. It is about something that could possibly be very beneficial to all of us. In the Babylonian tablet number 10, he crossed the sea for whatever reason because Shamash was able to stare into the sun. And it also says that he could see, and only he could see what was within the sun. And I believe that means the sun that's in our heads, inside the center of our temples, because we take a look at the Egyptian Book of the Dead, going back up again, we see that thou being of hidden form in the temples, whose ka is holy. What it's talking about here is the law of correspondence, the as above, so below, as below, so above. There's the sun that's in our heads, and then there's the sun in the sky. And I believe by staring at the sun, we complete that connection. And I believe it's beneficial to us, and it even tells us this in the Bible. So this has been my presentation. This is what I do. I actually go around and I look at art and I look at what the various religions say, because we're never going to get anything from the medical industry. I'm going to provide a link to solar gazing with HRM here, and you guys can make the decision for yourself. I can tell you I've done it personally. It does not hurt my eyes, and I have 20/10 vision, and my vision has never decreased. It's one of the reasons I'm probably able to see things that other people aren't able to see, is because I have extremely good vision. And I can tell you that I would not sacrifice my vision at all. I truly believe that this is something very beneficial to people, and I think it's being hidden from us. So I hope this was a good presentation for everybody. I'm going to provide the links here to this and also to this site as well, where you can also reach the Babylonian texts, and you can at least use it as reference, so that if you want to go take a look at the Egyptian Book of the Dead or these other ancient texts, that you can do that as well. So everybody take care, and I'll talk to you soon.